Hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and Raw Minneapolis just got over. That's pretty much what I have to say about the show. I will be a little more descriptive, but not too long. As you can see, there is nobody here. Best friends are taking care of personal things. The producers are sleeping over there and over there. And I will be back for SmackDown Live tomorrow as my schedule has changed. So I will actually be off and I will be back here watching that. And hopefully somebody will be joining me for the review. But anyway, Minneapolis is usually a pretty uh, feverish crowd. They're usually pretty energetic, and they were energetic for parts of the show, but a lot of it just beat them down. Like they opened Owens and Jericho, and they got pretty good pops. And the list was missing. Where is the list? It was a big mystery. Where is the list? Where is the list? We knew who had the list. It was pretty damn obvious. Rollins is over big time. It was an entertaining segment. Rollins is like, oh, I don't have the list. And he's got his arm right behind him. So, of course, he has the list. Stephanie's down there. It's a whole thing where it's like, oh, Jericho doesn't, won't wrestle unless he gets the list back. And even though he sees Rollins with the list, can't catch him. And then you have a bunch of segments where Jericho's looking for the list, can't find it, he can't find it. He finally finds it with Braun. Braun Strowman's holding it. And Jericho has to politely ask the man, where is the list? And he gets it back. So that was entertaining stuff. And that takes us through a few things that happened. First match is Enzo versus Carl Anderson. It was kind of weird how like the club cut out the mics for Enzo and Cass, yet still a sign that Enzo and Cass are really, really over. They were just doing the thing, talking into their hands and yelling, and the crowd knew the entire thing by heart. That's really cool, even though we hear it a whole bunch, even with the brand split. We know a whole bunch of stuff that the guys do is still really nice, and it was nice to see Enzo and Cass that over, even with the losses they've been eating lately. But you have Enzo beat Anderson, and the club's momentum, not that it was really going anywhere anyway with them beating up a couple teams before, it's just basically dead now. Like, they're facing off against Enzo and Cass in Hell in a Cell. They could win, but they got a major rebuilding process for at least a couple months before they're any kind of credible threat for the tag titles. But Enzo beating Anderson, I mean, if I recall right, Cass beat Enzo last week, or Cass beat Gallows last week. And Enzo was doing his usual energetic stuff. Well, why couldn't you have just split? Have Cass win his match and have Anderson win this match? It's making the club look weak and it's ridiculous. And then you have Rusev for the good promos, good backstage promo. It's kind of harking back to the 90s pay-per-views, the early 90s. And that was really good. I liked how, Rusev showed more intensity. Maybe this is a chance where if he doesn't win against Reigns in Hell in a Cell, which is highly unlikely, maybe he gets pushed more into the main event. I'm not going to believe it until I see it, but I'd like to see it because I think Rusev's got money written all over him. New Day versus Cesaro and Sheamus. It wasn't bad. It was a well-done tag match, but why? Why did Cesaro and Sheamus get this match now? It's not like you couldn't have just put another guy with Cesaro and Sheamus. Somebody else with it so you could have made a six-man and saved the tag match for the pay-per-view with the titles on the line. Now, Cesaro and Sheamus got the win. My question is why end New Day's title reign now? That's just my question. I mean, I don't know. Who knows what will happen? I'll go over my Hell in a Cell preview tomorrow when more of the cards announced. So far, only 6 matches are announced as of right now, and we'll have to see what else comes up because I'm not going to just do a preview of 6 matches tonight. I've done too many shows already. But not a bad tag match, but it made me question why this suddenly happened. And then Bayley versus Dana Brooke arm wrestling contest. It was bad. This is not how you get Bayley over. People were chanting, this is stupid and boring. That is not how you get Bayley over. Dana Brooke is not ready. Shout out to Jeremy8911 for pointing out. And other people have pointed out too, but him specifically. Dana Brooke needs to go back to NXT. She's not ready. She's gotten worse in the ring. And maybe that's just because she feels she needs to overachieve and do more. Maybe she's trying to do more what the office is telling her. And she needs to work harder. But to me, she's still way too green to be on the main roster. She was too green even to be featured on a lot of stuff in NXT. But at least in NXT, it's a smaller stage, and she can work with some other people, and they can train her better. On the main roster, it's kind of really just go, 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 go with all the house shows and the televised events you have. But yeah, not a good thing. I'm guessing this will probably be made into a match at Hell in a Cell. Axel, with a tribute to his granddad, Larry the Axe Hayne, and his dad, late great Kurt Hennig. That was really nice, really cool. Big pop from the Minneapolis crowd. Him versus Bo. It was okay. I was glad to see these guys get a few minutes to wrestle. Maybe this match also gets added to the Hell in a Cell pre-show. I don't know. But you might as well, since you only have 6 matches, add a couple more to round it out. But it was, I mean, it was weird. I don't know. It was just kind of short. I mean, Bo gets the win. That was expected. But Axel, it was nice to see him break out the perfect plex. It was cool stuff. I enjoyed it. But, Bo winning, I don't think they're going to do anything really with these guys. I think Axel's peaked about where he has. So, there you go. Reigns, I don't hate Reigns to the point that I want to see the guy get injured. I don't want to see anybody get injured. I am not interested in Reigns as a U.S. champion. He's defended the title one time since Wayne at Clash of Champions. Now, I know he's only had about a month, but still, he can't defend it once. I mean, now, granted, he could have defended it on house shows for all I know, for all I care. But on TV, he's defended it once. Why not have him do a U.S. Open challenge? Sure, it would give more opportunities for Rusev to screw with him and, not cost him to win, but help Reigns win and then beat him down. They didn't do anything with that. They've done these promos, and there's enough of a build for a good match. It doesn't feel like it should be in Hell in a Cell, though. And Reigns is just a bland U.S. champion right now to me. So then you had Golden Truth with Mark Henry ringside versus Shining Stars with Titus. It was as bad as a 6-man tag match last week. I'm not going to talk about it. Truth and Goldust, I don't care how good they are in the ring still at their ages. They need to go be backstage agents soon. The Shining Stars mean nothing. Same with Titus and Henry. Nothing segment for anybody. Sasha and Charlotte with the contract signing. So much yelling. So much yelling. And the thing is Foley did well when he hyped for Rollins and Ambrose back in 2014 for their Hell in a Cell match. My problem is with this, you had so much yelling and so much stuff. And it's like Foley didn't let them talk for a while, and he kept holding the contract. It's like, well, you're going to need to sign this contract. Well, you got to give it to him. You got to let him sign the contract. Foley, while usually is pretty good with his promos, I just felt took too much away from this. We already got the gravity of the situation with the Hell in a Cell match. The ladies want to make history. We know that. Foley didn't really add anything to it. And in fact, if anything, it proved with this new era that guess what? Authority figures still mean more than the talents. And that seems to be the case on Raw. Not as much on SmackDown sometimes. Well, especially on Raw, it just means nothing. And it's like Charlotte and Sasha, to me, did not come out looking. They didn't look any worse than they did coming in, but they didn't look any better. This did not sell me on their match any more than the last few weeks did. I think it'll be a good match, hopefully, as long as they're allowed to go all out. But it didn't really do anything for me. Emelina, terrible name. I hope Emma can overcome this, but this is a credibility killer right here. Kendrick and Swann, weird, short. It was good, but Swann picking up the win over Kendrick just seemed weird because they built up Kendrick after Clash of Champions so much and even getting a victory over TJ Perkins during that time. And then he loses to Swann. So unless they're going to have Kendrick beat Perkins at the pay-per-view, Perkins has a rematch on Raw and loses, and Swann's the next challenger. I can't see the point in Swann getting a victory here. Unless Perkins wins, and then Swann and Kendrick feud on the undercard, which I'd be fine with. I think they could deliver some good matches. But it was an odd choice. Then you had Braun versus Zane. That didn't last. You had, Zane getting chased around the ring and a couple moves, and that was it. And then Braun left because he didn't see Zane as competition. Maybe this match will be added to Hell in a Cell. Maybe you're going to have 9 matches on Hell in a Cell. You might as well. But it just seemed odd that they would do this match even with the false finish. It made no sense. It didn't do anything really for Braun. I mean, he sort of looked dominant, I guess. Zane, my God, Zane has fallen so far. He's fallen basically to the core of the earth since Battleground. It's just really sad. Brock and Heyman, this was easily the worst segment of the night. One, Heyman never stumbles over his words, and he did. I can't tell if he was just having an off night. I can't tell if he was annoyed that the crowd couldn't make up their mind and wasn't really, buying into what he said, like the whole Goldberg thing. He was trying to get people to chant Goldberg, Brock, this kind of stuff, and work. Kept antagonizing people to chant Goldberg. It didn't work. One, Brock is from Minneapolis, Minnesota, I believe, or, made his... well, he's from some part of North Dakota, I think. North or South Dakota. But he made his home for a while, Minneapolis, Minnesota, I believe. I mean, he made himself famous by being in, I want to say, the University of Minnesota when he was a collegiate wrestler. But this just didn't work. Heyman just seemed off. It just didn't do any good. I didn't understand why this was happening, and it was really weird to see Heyman off. Brock looked like he was bored. I mean, not that he ever looked like he was really interested anyway. But this segment did nothing for me. I wasn't that sold on when Goldberg came back last week. This is doing no favors for this feud. That, by the way, still has about a month to build. I mean, a month, and you already don't have people sold on it. That's not good. Don't make people reach fever pitch too early, but it was not a good segment at all. It was really bad, and it was like they finally just realized, hey, cue the music. Nobody's buying this. Just end it. And then starting at basically the 8 o'clock hour, 8 o'clock hour my time, but, at the top of the third hour, you had Owens, Rollins, and Jericho in a triple threat match, which wasn't bad, but it was short. And it's like, okay, why do you guys insist on going over on Raw, even if USA is allowing them to, and even if USA gets more money and, more advertisers, more ratings and stuff, whatever. You already don't use your content and your talent well enough anyway on Raw. Why are you doing this and putting, a triple threat match on for like a good 14 minutes on at the end? They didn't make good use of this. It was not any good. It was a good triple threat, but it was just not a well-paced show at all. Rollins gets the win, fine, okay. He gets beat up by Owens afterwards. That gives Owens heat, builds up to their match at Hell in a Cell. I'm fine with that. My issue is that this doesn't make me, buy into Hell in a Cell, the pay-per-view, anymore. I'm at mid-level with, how Hell in a Cell is going to be. Maybe it's going to be good. I don't know. I have matches written down, and I will hopefully they will announce more tomorrow or tonight after I'm done with this, and I can write them down. I can do my preview tomorrow. I'm going to do my preview tomorrow anyway, because I got to work a bunch of hours. So anyway, I'm honestly going to give this Raw a D+. D+. I mean, it had a couple moments, and some of the hype for Hell in a Cell wasn't bad, but the focus wasn't on the talent so much. For like the women's segment, it wasn't focused so much on that. It was focused on Foley. And I get Foley's had a lot of famous moments in Hell in a Cell. But again, as much as that means something, let these people create their own legacy. Don't keep dipping back to the past. So that's what I got to say. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. My Twitter link is in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritland. I'm John Ritland. I'll see you soon. I'll actually see you tomorrow for SmackDown Live.